Please excuse my messy hair. I do not give a shit this morning about how it looks because I'm exhausted. But good morning, everybody. It is Monday. It is about 10 to 9 in the morning, and I'm really into the swing of work this morning. I'm just very, very tired. I don't want to work today. I would like to go back to sleep if I could, but I can't. This week, actually, I really need to finish 2 books by the end of this week because it is the last week of January, which means it's the last week of the Battle of the Bookish, and it is also the last week for me to be able to finish my D&D TBR books, so I really want to get those ones done, which one of them is Gemina. I started this last week, and I have got to page 102 out of 659, so good chunk of the way through, but I really want to get this done, like, soon, because then my other one is All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. That's my other D&D TBR book for this month. So if I can get those 2 done, my D&D TBR will be complete, and then whatever else I read this week will kind of be gravy. My audiobook pick for this week is going to be Instant Karma by Marissa Meyer. I think I'll wait to read Instant Karma until later today, once I get through my watch later playlist, just because I want to get through most of that, pretty much all of that. There's like 27 videos, but with it being on 2 times speed, it's going to go by a lot quicker. I will update you guys though on how things are going, because actually things have changed drastically over the last week with Battle of the Bookish. So as of today at about 9 o'clock in the morning on the 25th, Mystery Thriller is now in last place with 530 points. They ended up getting a couple more people to drag down their average, so finally that happened, but sorry, Liv, but we were waiting for that. And Sci-Fi is now in 3rd place with 582.5 points. Fantasy is in 2nd with 671.67 points, and Contemporary is taking the lead with 784 points. I would not be surprised if we close the gap with Fantasy, or at the very least, like, come close to that, because I think that if people get their stuff in, and especially if I can finish Gemina, and if I can finish All the Crooked Saints, I'll get some points for that, because Gemina, I know, is going to be for one of my Battle of the Bookish prompts, which will get me multiple points for not just the page length, that this is worth 100 points as it is, but then it's also going to be worth another 100 points because this is for one of my sci-fi prompts for the Battle of the Bookish, so this is like a 200-point book by itself. Yay, my Jade Empire video finally finished, so I'm going to get that going and then probably read a little bit of Gemina during my break, and I will talk to all you guys when I've made some more progress, because like I feel like with 100 pages in, I still don't really feel like there's a lot going on at this point. I do know there's some threads kind of being developed as the story goes on, but nothing substantial has really hit yet, and I don't think it's going to happen for about another 100 pages or so. Of freaking course, as soon as I say like nothing massive has happened as of yet, a bunch of people get shot and killed. So essentially what we do know, one of the threads of this story is that there is a character in here that works on the Hemdall, which is the waypoint station. It's like basically a station that like those ships will come in. It's basically like a jumping off point for them in terms of traveling the galaxies and all of this. So the Hemdall, there's somebody on the Hemdall that basically is working with Baytech and is working with people that are looking to essentially take over these ships, like, because basically going back to what we learn about in Illuminate is that Baytech has basically been trying to eliminate the actual verified people that are running these different, you know, planets and ships and all of that, because they're looking to take over all of it for their own personal gain. I don't remember exactly what the purpose is. It's just that Baytech are like basically the big bad corporation that are trying to take over everything that seems to have been otherwise ran by the people that wanted to inhabit other planets, the people that had gone through the steps of being able to inhabit other planets freely and able to like legally do that. Baytech basically just wants to take everything into their own hands. Well, somebody on the Hemdall gets Baytech involved, and I think that essentially they send out a crew of people to take over the Hemdall, and unfortunately a lot of people are shot and killed, one of them including our main character Hannah's father. She hasn't, I believe, seen him yet, but he tries to talk to the team that's there. They ask, who's in charge of the Hemdahl, and her father goes up and is like, I am, because he is the captain. He is the one that is in charge of the entire operation, the whole thing. And they kill him, basically to say, no, you're not. We're the ones that are in charge now. So I think that this is basically what the story is that there's this group that's come on, is taken over, and Hannah and Nick have to figure out a way to either take them down or find a way to get away from the Hemdahl.
I've been lying here for too long. I don't know what else to do. I wanna get away from every little thing just to try to make it through. I've been thinking about my options.
It's Tuesday. It's after 9 o'clock in the morning. And of course I feel like once again I am shit at my job because I do things that I think works and it's apparently wrong. I don't know. I just feel like today am not in the best of moods, and so I feel like everyone's going to attack me. It's going to be a very defensive day today, I think, which is not my intent, but I'm just having a very, very bad mental health day right now. I just feel like I am constantly having to fight to, show that I'm capable of doing my job, even though it feels like most of the time I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And it feels like I have maybe 2 days where I can actually, feel like I did a pretty good job, and then one day I realized I did something that completely fucked everything up the day before. I just fucking hate this. I hate this so much. I feel like I'm constantly an idiot. And I know I'm not, and I know my coworkers don't think I'm a complete idiot. I don't know. It's just a bad day for me. I'm also very hormonal, so that's probably a big proponent to all of that. My stomach hurts. I have cramps. Not awful, but I feel like they're gonna get worse as the day goes on. So I'm not in a good mood. I'm not in a good mood at all. And it's nothing that I can change at the moment. I can definitely do something to help myself feel better, but it is just gonna be a crappy day, I think. I didn't read very much of Gemini yesterday. I read maybe 35 pages. I don't know, I like the book. Every time I go to sit and read, I feel no desire to read. I would rather sit and do something else, watch videos or journal or something. And I think that's just because I'm, I don't know, it's just been a kind of crap couple of days for me. So it's just because I'm not feeling well and my mental health is not feeling the best. Just because I'm super hormonal, I think is a big thing of it. So I just feel no desire to read. So I would rather do something else to occupy my time and my mind and that kind of stuff. Because I'm feeling so crappy, I think today's going to be a good day for me to read. I think today I just want to sit and read. I do have to edit my vlog from last week still so I can get it up tomorrow, but I think otherwise, doing chores and stuff, once I get that video edited, I think I want to just sit and read, and I don't really want to do anything. I don't want to watch anything today. So, with that said, I think my goal today is going to be to get to about page 250, which because of how things are split up in this book, it would be actually a good idea for it to be about 250, which would put me about here. This would be everything I had read at this point, and this would be the rest of the book. So there's still a lot of it to go. I only have a few days left before I have to finish my books. I have a feeling though that the last book I wanted to get to, which is All the Crooked States by Maggie Stiefvater, I have a feeling I'm not going to really like that one anyway because it's Maggie Stiefvater, and I don't feel like I really gel with a lot of Maggie Stiefvater books. I read the Scorpio Races, and that was pretty okay, but it wasn't anything spectacular to me. I read The Raven Boys, and I didn't really like it, and I unhauled it because I don't understand why everybody liked it so much. I thought it was just I didn't like the writing. I also listened to the audiobook though, so maybe it would have been better for me to read it physically, but I had no interest in it. I found it very, very boring the whole time. So I've not had good experiences with Maggie Stiefvater in the past, and so it's definitely not necessarily exciting for me to read another book of hers. I'm gonna sit and read for a little while and kind of just calm my mind, reset a little bit, and then we will get back into the swing of work.
I met an old man. I said, tell me your story. He took out an old pen and wrote something for me. Then he kept walking on down the road, and I watched him disappear like smoke. And I thought I'd just seen a ghost. Then I looked down at what he wrote. It said, son, when you grow up you'll be fine. I know you've got questions on your mind. Life is gonna happen one way or the other, whether you like it or not. Stop looking for the answers and you'll find what you've got. I met a young man, searching for glory. I took out an old pen and wrote in my story. Then I kept walking on down the road. When your time is up, it's time to go. I pray he reads what's on the note.
This is a prime example of how my day's going today. I'm hormonal as hell. I found out I can't order food to be delivered because apparently none of the services, Uber Eats, DoorDash, anything like that, nobody is delivering. So I'd have to go pick it up if I had to, and it's fucking cold outside because it's snowing. I just want chicken nuggets. That's all I want. And I want Wendy's chicken nuggets, and it's not that far, but I guess they're not even open right now. I don't fucking like today. I want to be done. Today sucks. I know I'm just being super hormonal at this point, but this is what it's like being a woman. If you've ever in your life wondered what it's like when a woman is menstruating, this is what it is. A lot of crying, being angry at the world, in pain, wanting food that you can't have sometimes because you can't go just easily get it, and never wanting anything other than that food you want because nothing else sounds appetizing. I know it doesn't seem like it's really that bad, but when you're menstruating as a woman, you already feel like everything is against you, so you're very sensitive, and this is the result. If you ever wondered, don't be a fucking woman. Sometimes it fucking sucks. Okay, I calmed down. The app fixed itself. I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know why that was such a fucking nightmare to try to deal with, but now DoorDash is letting me order my nugs, thank God. Oh God, I was seriously about to have a fucking meltdown because like I said, it just, very hormonal. Menstruation is not fun for those of you that have to go through that. It is just the absolute worst because you're already super, super sensitive, and so I haven't actually had this go on for a long time because I was on the depot shot for a long time. I was on the depot shot for about a year, and so I had no menstruation, I had no cramps, I had maybe a little bit of hormonal fluctuation here and there, but that was, normal. And then just because mostly because my mental health is usually all over the place, so I feel like I'm always in some ways like super emotional. This is the first time though in a long time that I have actually like broken down and cried because I was so hormonal and I couldn't get something done my way. Oh, I do not miss this. I do not miss this at all. This is the worst part of the whole thing. I'm very thankful though. Somebody out there was looking out for me, I guess, because now my app is working again. I'm able to order food and feel better because all I want is hot, salty, greasy food. That's all I want right now. It sounds amazing. I know it's gonna make me feel so much better. I feel better. Everything is okay. Still not the best work day, but it's getting better. Oh, it's been a day. Okay, so I am technically on a break now from work. I'm gonna read more of Gemina. So far today, I've actually read quite a bit, more than I already expected. I've already read almost 50 pages. Because for one thing, a lot of these pages are a lot shorter because there's not as much content on them because it's a mixed media book, so you're going to fly through it a little bit quicker sometimes than your average book. But I have already read 50 pages today, which is good. I think I'm actually going to end up being able to surpass my goal of being on page 250 this evening. But I do have some stuff I want to get done tonight with Robert because we've been meaning to clean the house. We've been meaning to clean it for like weeks now, and it just hasn't happened because we've been very, very tired and unmotivated and just not really wanting to do anything. And because nobody comes to the house anyway, it doesn't really matter because like nobody's gonna judge us for having dishes in the sink or having, you know, bits of trash, you know, not picked up or like, you know, cans strewn about the place. But I think we're getting to a point where it's starting to irritate the both of us. So we are gonna do some stuff. For right now, I just need to wait for my food. Like I said, I'm about to be on break. I'm on a break right now from work, so I'm gonna read a little bit of Gemina, and then basically it'll be my lunchtime. But I may work a little bit just to kind of wait for food to come in and, you know, get a little bit more work done, something like that. So yeah, that's been my day. So it's about 1:45 in the afternoon. I've migrated myself out to the living room because my cramps are getting to the point where sitting in a chair is actually like hurting me more than anything. So being able to stretch out has been better. I got some bad news today. Not bad news as in like, you know, anything massively happened to anyone I care about, but I found out something about an author I really love that I was not aware of. And apparently I'm a little late to the party in the knowledge of this, truthfully. And it just kind of made me sad. So I kind of want to talk about it because like we don't talk a lot about, I think in the booktube community, how meaningful some authors are to our development when it comes to reading and how much of an impact their books can have on us, to the point where like when authors pass away, how big of a hole it kind of leaves in our hearts kind of thing. So many of you guys know I, in 2019, going through partway through 2020, was doing a reread series for this series called The Morganville Vampires by Rachel Kane. And I had talked extensively about how I loved this series so much when I was in high school. It was a series that my grandmother and I had read together that brought us a lot closer, and it just meant a lot to me. I think that it really shaped a lot of my interest with writing and a lot of my interest with publishing and wanting to go into being an editor and all these things. Like, it was kind of one of those fundamental series I remember being so very impactful in my life. And when I decided to reread it in like 2019 going and then into 2020, it was an amazing journey. I loved doing it because I thought it was so fun to reread this series for the first time since I was in high school, and I had a blast with it. And I felt like after the first few books, which were kind of mediocre for the time, mostly because of the way that books were written back then, the books just got better and better as they went on. And I also then started collecting other Rachel Kane books because I had heard that some of her other books were really good. I knew, especially in 2020, that she was not doing very well. Rachel Kane unfortunately had cancer. I'm not necessarily certain what kind of cancer. I knew she was in chemo a lot over the course of 2020, and then with COVID there were a lot of other issues. And I had heard that in September she had been, I think it was September, she had been placed in hospice care because things were really bad. and she wasn't looking very good. And I knew that somebody basically had taken over her Twitter account, which was where I was getting a lot of like the updates of how she was doing and all these things. And I did not know until today that unfortunately November 1st there was a tweet made on that account saying that she had unfortunately passed away. I had not known about this, and it's been nearly 3 months since she has passed. I heard no news about it. I heard nobody talking about it because not very many people knew who she was unless you had read the books yourselves. I don't think very many people in the booktube community knew who she was. I find that very unfortunate because I think that she was definitely someone I think a lot of people would have really appreciated who were, like, for instance, fans of Twilight. She's written several other kinds of stories and books and all of those things. One of the most recent ones being a sci-fi book that she co-authored. It was called Honor Among Thieves, I think. But she's written so many other things, and unfortunately I realized too that in 2021, I believe in March, she was supposed to have another book come out. And so, you know, I don't know what the whole logistics are now with the fact that she's gone, but I would not be surprised if that book didn't end up coming out on time. My point being is that I found this out and it kind of hurt. It really hurts to know that one of my favorite authors that I think really shaped my reading and really shaped my love for reading and writing and want and desire to go into editing. To know that that idol, that hero of mine, I guess you could say, is gone, it hurts. I don't think I felt like this since Chester Bennington from Linkin Park had unfortunately passed away. I'm very sad, and the fact that I find this out already on a day where I wasn't feeling my best doesn't make me feel better, obviously, but I don't know. Now I feel very confused almost. I don't know, for one, exactly how I missed it. Because unless I never saw the post or unless I just wasn't on Twitter at all that day, I can only think the reason it never got brought up is because nobody else really knew who Rachel Caine was. Either that, or if people were talking about it, I just didn't see it for some reason. I don't know. And it hurts my heart to know that I didn't know about it until almost 3 months later because nobody talked about her. She was going into hospice. I remember so many people talking about how much they loved her, how many authors like talked about her as being an inspiration for them. Like some of the more prominent like fantasy romance people or urban fantasy writers. Like I remember Cami Garcia and Margaret Stoll that wrote the Beautiful Creatures series. They were talking about her. I think Danielle Page talked about her a little bit, who wrote the Dorothy Must Die series. Like, I just remember when she went into hospice, so many people had, like, come out of the woodwork to talk about her, and it made my heart so happy. So why is it that I didn't hear about anything about it when she passed away? Did I just not see anything? Was I not on Twitter that day? I don't remember, honestly. It's been almost 3 months. I don't necessarily track the days I go on Twitter, so it's not like I can remember exactly seeing anything like that. I'm just very sad. I'm very sad that an author I truly love and I think really shaped me as a person with her writing, that she's gone. And I hope that her family has been able to find some solace, because I know that at the very least, she's no longer suffering because she was suffering for many, many months. I really just hope that her family is truthfully doing okay. I'm gonna send all of my love and good vibes to them, because I can't even imagine how it must be to watch someone you love go through something like that. I don't know how to feel. I really don't. I feel, honestly, like it feels like I now have a hole in my heart, because I don't know who I would exactly be without Rachel Caine. I don't know how I would be as a reader, as a person, and to know that she's no longer with us. She's no longer going to be able to create things with her and put her mark on the world through them. It's just really sad. about 10 to 9 in the morning on Wednesday. I feel better than I did yesterday, but still not feeling the best. I'm still very crampy. I don't feel like I slept very well last night because I kept having to toss and turn to try to find a comfortable position that essentially wouldn't let my muscles like constrict so much, because like every position I slept in almost made it impossible for me to sleep because I just was constantly cramping. Ibuprofen did not seem to help at all yesterday, which is bizarre because normally it does. I think yesterday though, because I was feeling so crappy, I've had my best reading day in quite some time. So I know that I, like, in the past have read like 200 pages or so in one day and I felt pretty good. Well, yesterday I read 300 pages of Gemini. So this bookmark here, this is where I started yesterday. This is where I ended yesterday. This is ridiculous. Like 300 pages exactly. I do not know how I ended up doing that, but I got kind of sucked in, and I read quite a bit during the day with my breaks and stuff that I had from work. And then after work, I did clean up a little bit around the house before Robert got home. And then I sat and read for a little while. And then after dinner, I just wanted to sit and read. I didn't really want to do a lot because I was very uncomfortable. I pretty much like camped out here on the couch most of the day, and I'm out here again today. But yeah, 300 pages yesterday, which is absolutely insane. Like, and I actually am really enjoying this. I don't know though whether I would say I'm enjoying it more than I think I did Illuminate, because truthfully, here's my thing, is that I really like what a lot of this is doing. There is another element that's brought into the story partway through that involves kind of an alien entity that kind of is like trying to take advantage of all of the chaos that's ensuing because of the people that were hired by Baytech. And I will say that Hannah has learned very quickly that the people she thought she could trust are not people she could trust at all, because they have essentially sold her and everybody else out. And at this point, they're trying to basically get rid of all of the people that are from Baytech. They're trying to get rid of everybody so that they can get themselves safe. Katie, who is on the Hypatia, which is on its way to Hemdall, is being warned that, you know, there's things going on. There is this whole thing where we learn more about Nick too, and how exactly he's gotten to be where he is. And I will say, I think Nick is someone who a lot of people at first would kind of be put off by, because he's kind of a dickhead. But I think that when you start to learn about his past, you definitely start to have a little bit more empathy for him, because he basically has been through a lot. He's really been through a lot, and he never exactly wanted to be where he ended up. It just kind of happened that because of his family, he ended up where he is, and he doesn't want that. He doesn't like that. So I think that he kind of is much more empathetic than I would expect him to be. So I really like this. But again, I don't think I like it more than I like Illuminate. I think that they're both kind of on the same level, because I feel like that because they both deal with some very different things, even though Gemina takes place after everything that happens on Illuminate. Nothing is like super wowing me. I will say that a plot twist regarding a character who was selling everybody else out was a shock. I was very much floored. I actually, like, out loud said, "You motherfucker," and Robert thought I was talking to him, and he was like, what did I do? But I don't think that anything has necessarily wowed me to the point where I think it deserves a 5-star, but I am very much enjoying it, so it is at least a solid 4-star. But I still have a little more than 200 pages left of the book, so I guess will depend on how the rest of this goes. But I'm gonna be taking a break here soon, and then I have to work for a little bit more before my meeting, so I'm gonna get started on my reading for right now. And I think that honestly, I probably could finish Gemina today, because the pages go by so fast most times that I probably will be able to finish this maybe after my stream today. Like, I do my stream, eat dinner, and sit and relax. I think I could finish this tonight before I go to bed. Okay guys, it is about 1:45 in the afternoon, and I finished it! I finished Gemina. Okay, so I really like this book, but again, I think that even with the ending, I feel like it's just a 4-star because truthfully, there wasn't anything I felt that like blew me out of the water when it came to this book, but this is something where I feel like these books in particular, this series, especially with this one, kind of also with Illuminae, but not as much, I feel like these would be amazing action sci-fi movies. Like, they would have to be adapted at some point because they are so action-packed. They are incredibly complex when it comes to the whole reason as to why things are happening. I really like the way that even in a mixed media format where we have things like chat logs, dossiers, files, those kinds of things, like even though it's in that mixed media format, the book still honestly feels like it's a movie playing out, which is amazing. I think that the way that this story has been constructed in both Illuminae and Gemina just, I think, explains why sci-fi is so fascinating to me, because I think that it's so action filled. I think in general I just like space war stuff. I don't know what it is because this is kind of like a space war story, but I really like how just this whole book basically went. I felt like I really enjoyed watching Hannah as a character. I will say I don't think that there is a lot of character growth. I feel like these are stories where like character growth is not necessarily like the most important thing when it comes to this. I think that the relationships between characters though is highly important, and I think that really the only character growth you get in these is that some of the characters involved in this, the ones that survive, they are much harder, they're much more iron-fisted, I guess, in a sense, because of the fact that they've gone through a lot within the span of this book. I feel like that with Katie and Ezra, who was the male love interest in Illuminae, I think that that really kind of got showcased where when their relationship kind of rekindled, essentially, that they also then became a lot stronger. And then in Gemina, I really feel like we got to see both Hannah and Nick in the story become even harder individuals than they kind of already were. Hannah was kind of this character who I think a lot of people would misunderstand because she was the captain of the Hemdall's daughter. So everyone kind of thought she had shit handed to her, that she was kind of a prissy, little princess or whatever. But I think that especially when it came to figuring out what exactly to do in this whole attack that was going on, she proved very quickly like she can be a tough bitch. She can be a badass. And I think that Nick, he kind of had already kind of made himself out to be this hard-ass kind of guy, but you see as the story goes on that, there is a little bit of growth in the sense that you get to see other aspects of these characters as time goes on, but I don't think there's actually, any real growth. It's just you get to see the different sides of these characters as the story goes on, but I really appreciated that. I think my biggest gripe with it is, I just felt like I didn't get super wowed by a lot. There were definitely some plot twists I was kind of caught off guard by, in regards to one particular character who was kind of a spy, and then there was this really interesting sci-fi theme plot twist kind of thing that came up that I was actually very interested in because I thought it was absolutely amazing. I thought that it just basically, provided another layer to this story twice. Actually, there were two different sci-fi theme plot devices that I think, added to the story. I think that they actually really kind of fleshed out a little bit more and made it even more enticing. And another reason as to why I feel like these books would be great as movies. I feel like people would really get attached very quickly to these movies. I don't know, just I feel like I think I really enjoyed this whole Space Wars kind of thing, and I really also appreciate these characters in a lot of ways. So now the next book I need to read, that is the last book of my D&D TBR, is going to be All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. For this book, for my D&D TBR, it is to read a book that is off of my shelves because basically I had this thing where it was either I could buy a book or if I lost in the roll of the dice when it came to my D&D game, that I would have to then pick a book that was already on my shelves. And I had wanted to read All the Crooked Saints for something else, I think, a while back. I think it was originally a random TBR book, I think, and I just never got to it, so I just decided to use that. So I think I'm gonna get that one started later on today, probably when I get on my next break. So I gotta input my points though real quick for Gemina. As far as my Battle of the Bookish TBR, I have 3 more books on there. All the Crooked Saints is not for anything in particular. It would just be getting page points for Battle of the Bookish. I don't think, though, I'm going to get to any of the other books on my Battle of the Bookish TBR unless for some reason I'm able to fly through all the Crooked Saints in like a day and a half. Then I think I might pick up The Shadow of Death, which is my read for my Thirst Reread series for this month. So... Good morning, everybody. It is about 8:45 in the morning on Thursday. I've got some coffee going that I'm waiting to start pouring into my coffee cup. And today is a bit of a slow day so far. I'm very tired. I have not been sleeping well the last couple of nights because I've been super, super crampy. Today I feel a lot better than though I have the last couple of days because of all of this hormonal stuff going on. But I'm still not fully, like, back to 100% as of yet. But last night I did end up starting All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater, and I only read, like, 1 chapter, which was, like, 16 pages. But I'm already seeing right now that I'm not a Maggie Stiefvater fan. I do not like her writing. I think it is a little gratuitous. I think that she uses incredibly flowery writing that doesn't make sense for the story. I barely could understand what even the book was supposed to start off talking about until I like moved away from it. But all I know is that right now it centers on 3 I would say they're kind of like young adults. They're kind of like older teenagers going into young adults, and they are, I think I want to say Mexican American, and they are also like, they're basically involved in making this radio show that I guess is like not necessarily illegal, but like kind of frowned upon or something like that. One of them wants to be like a DJ, but his family is like dead set against it. They don't like the idea of him being that. One is the female cousin of the group, because it's like 3 cousins, I think. The female cousin basically wants to make music, and she makes music by stringing numbers together or something like that, and like the kinds of strings of numbers indicate certain kinds of melodies and musical notes and progressions and all that stuff. And then the oldest one, he is not really involved in it, but he is kind of considered like a saint of sorts. Like, he's considered the saint of the family. He's the one that like does everything right, I think. He's kind of just a good boy, but I don't know if he's necessarily like a qualified saint. I don't even know what you would call it, like somebody who's like actually deemed as a saint in the eyes of like the church or whatever. But yeah, so I don't know much else other than that, but I really do not like this writing. It's going to be something I'm going to feel like I'm going to slog through because I can't stand it. I think this was the issue I had with the Raven Boys and why I didn't like that. The Scorpio races I actually kind of liked because I liked the idea of the competition, and I really did like the characters more so. Like, I gave the Scorpio races a 4-star. I really liked it, but the Raven Boys I couldn't stand, and I can already tell with this one I am not gonna really like it that much until I can get through more of the book. The writing for me with this one is not something I'm a fan of. So 42 pages in, and it's a no for me, dog. It's a straight fucking no. I can't take this. I can't. I'm not a fan of Maggie Stiefvater. I got 13% of the way through it. That was enough for me. I got through the first 3 chapters. I don't care. I don't care about this. I don't like the writing style. I'm not connecting with anything. It just... What even is this book? I don't even know what it's supposed to fucking be about. And I don't feel like I get anything about why Maggie Stiefvater is such a big rave author for a lot of people. I don't get it. So all else I'm going to say about it is what is it counting for. Battle of the Bookish, it wasn't counting for anything specific other than page points, but because it's a DNF and I DNF'd at least 10% of the way through, I will get 5 points for this for my team. It's not a lot, but it's something that I just can't deal with. This was supposed to be for my D&D TBR game. This was the last book on that D&D TBR. I hadn't really said it, I guess, in the video that I had posted with January, because I went back and watched it to see if I had any rules regarding a DNF before the end of the month, and I didn't say anything about it, but what I'm going to say now that will get brought up in the next D&D TBR game, which is going to have a lot of changes with it already. I know there's going to be a lot of changes with it in terms of how the actual thing goes. If I DNF a book, first of all, it has to be at least 10% of the way through, like with Battle of the Bookish, that I then DNF it. And if I DNF it, I have to unhaul it. I don't care if it's, you know, part of a series. I don't care if it is, you know, by an author I might actually like. If I DNF it, it has to be unhauled because I want to whittle down my TBR a little bit through this, and I don't want to also spend my time reading books I'm not enjoying, and I also don't want books in my physical library anymore that I don't like. As far as my other reading, I still haven't picked up Instant Karma. I think I might pick that up here probably after lunch or something like that. I'm getting ready to go on my lunch break here fairly soon, so I think I'll pick up Instant Karma a little bit later today after I get through the last couple videos on my watch later playlist that I had for today, and hopefully that one will be better. But I'm gonna also then implement some points in on the spreadsheet and stuff for the Battle of the Bookish, because I'm a little behind right now. I have a meeting at 2 that I have to be a part of, that's gonna have to do with me going back to school, so I'm gonna do that probably around 2 o'clock today, and then otherwise it's gonna be a pretty normal day. I would read one of my other ones I had specifically for Battle of the Bookish, but I kind of want to get back into Thirst again because it's been a little bit since I've been in those books, so I want to get started with that one and probably finish out the month with it. That'll actually be kind of exciting because I really want to continue with that series because I'm almost done with the reread series for Thirst. So I have that book, and then I have February, which is going to be the last book in the series, which I'm really excited for, and I also want to get a reading vlog review started for that, but I don't know if I'm going to start that until later tonight or if I'm going to start it earlier, just because I'm not sure how the day is going to go. But at the very least, if I don't start it today, it'll definitely be started tomorrow, but other than that, that's basically it. I think though, basically what's gonna happen is if I do start Shadow of Death, I'm gonna have to like not talk about anything else going on in this vlog, so it may be a few days until maybe I finish Instant Karma before I update this vlog again, because I want to have Shadow of Death be a separate video because I do reading vlog reviews for those books. So I think that from here, I'm going to say goodbye for right now, and you guys might not see me for a couple of days. Well, for you it'll be a second, but I'm not going to film for this vlog for a couple of days because I want to spend my time focusing on that reading vlog review. However, once I do finish Instant Karma, I will come on and talk about it and kind of give my thoughts on it, because I think I should be able to also finish that before the end of the month. So I might still have 2 books to count for with Battle of the Bookish that will earn me points before the end of the month, which would be very, very nice.